It's like being on the 5 at rush hour, only you're out on the water at rush hour. It's pretty dramatic. It's great.
It's an event, not just a race.
The Newport to Ensenada race is the world's largest, and it's fun.
And the wind has been fantastic.
You have to be lucky a number of times, and you can't be unlucky once.
We have the 4 F's of sailing for this race: fun, food, friendship, and of course, fast sailing.
KOCE and Real Orange coverage of the Newport to Ensenada yacht race has been made possible in part by Land Rover Mission Viejo Newport Beach, the largest Land Rover center in the western U.S. Additional production assistance has been provided by Clyde and Connie Childress and the Childress Family Trust. And the Aventura Sailing Association of Dana Point, offering boating opportunities for recreational and professional seafarers, including boat and moorage rental and sailing instruction. And by Open Water Habitat Marine Schools of Santa Ana, offering a full range of equipment and instruction for recreational and professional diving enthusiasts, including scuba and camera equipment.
Competition, camaraderie, and community. That's the essence of the 51st Annual Newport to Ensenada Yacht Race. Hello, I'm Samantha McDermott.
And I'm Peter Murphy, and welcome aboard.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
It was rush hour on the high seas as 465 yachts jockeyed for position at the starting line of the largest international yacht race in the world. Sailors from San Diego to Santa Barbara come to Newport Beach every year to be part of this regal regatta.
It just gets in your blood. These guys just want to keep coming back and doing it again and doing it again. It's like they got to beat their own personal best type of a thing.
Okay, good work, guys and girls.
Hooray!
Now we're gonna settle down.
Yes. We beat it.
We have people who are serious. We have Roy Disney, who's the owner and skipper of Pyewacket, that races a lot of Transpac type races, and he is in a class called the 70 Raiders, and the 70s are a very serious racing group of people.
Yeah, let's unfurl the sail now and try it out. Make sure our lines are not crossed up and stuff.
This will be Ed's 23rd year entering and racing in the Ensenada race. He has got a Cardinal 46 named Sirena and has placed several times in the race, and hopefully this year he will get his first place trophy that he's been looking for.
Cruising class is actually the largest class in the regatta this year, and it's made up of people who just want to go down to Ensenada and have fun.
So I got my girlfriends together, got the crew together, so we decided to do cruising class, and very conveniently my husband happened to find one of his friends who also wanted to do the race in cruising class, Jennifer cruising class, to compete with us for the race. So I can't tell you on television what the real bet is, but we will suffice it to say that my husband, Chuck Pickle, is on the boat Pacifica, but we're going to beat him. I mean, there's not even a question in my mind.
The biggest plan of all is to decide that you can win it. Yeah. Then the next thing you do is convince everybody on board you can win it. And to win this race, a lot of things have to happen. One of the things has to happen, you have to be lucky a number of times. And you can't be unlucky once.
All boats that are not in the first starting class are required to stand clear of the starting area.
3, 2, 1, mark.
It takes tremendous concentration as racers try not to collide with others while crossing the line right as the starting gun fires.
The race is not won at the start line. On shorter races where you've got a race back and forth between marks, then sometimes a race is won at the start line. But on 130 miles, as long as we don't cross the start line before the start, I'll be very happy. I don't even care if we cross the line last in our class because we've got 130 miles to go.
The start of the race gets very hectic. We have 28 boats in our class, so we're going to kind of hang back a little bit and try to get everybody on the line, and we'll be just a little behind them, and we're coming through with a lot of speed. This boat doesn't accelerate as fast as some of the lighter boats, so the worst mistake we can make, number one, is to be over early, Number two is to hit the line with very little speed. So we're going to try to hit the line maybe a minute late, but with a lot of speed, and that'll make up for the tardiness of the starting line.
Each class knows which line they're supposed to cross. If a boat goes across the wrong line, he's called. He has to return and go back across again. If he misses the mark, sometimes the wind is pushing the boats past the mark. He has to go around that mark, come back, and start again, so he goes through the 2 marks.
Okay, that's good, that's good.
As seafarers on the yachts focus on the race ahead, a few old salts are looking back, as much as 51 years to the origins of the race.
Like the wind and water, this race has become a constant in Orange County. Its tradition and history are as deep and vast as the ocean itself.
It got started 51 years ago when a whole bunch of guys sitting in the bar decided that they needed to have an international yacht race.
First one was run in April 23rd of 1948, and they expected 25, 30 boats. They ended up with, I think it was 117 entered. And that's important because you recognize that the Spanish Armada was only 103 boats. They had 90-some start, 60-some finish, and it was an instant success, obviously.
When you're racing and it's fast and it's hard and you're watching to make sure that nobody else is going to hit you and you're not going to hit anybody else, you know, it's real hectic, but it's still very relaxing.
Beyond the current, tides, and wind, a championship yacht is powered more by the determination and spirit of its crew. Ultimate success is more about the sailors than the sails.
The majority of the people in the race are sailors who love the water and love the excitement of taking a 126-mile, 125 nautical mile trip down to Ensenada, competing against their fellow racers. And they're common people that are everything from plumbers to bankers to lawyers to firemen. So they're all over the map.
Dave Leppelmeyer is all over the map, literally. The F-18 fighter pilot makes a living flying 18,000 feet above the ground.
You know, I came in the Marine Corps 15, 16 years ago, and I enjoy the flying. I love my job. But the more senior you get in the Marine Corps, the more time you spend at work. So we enjoy our time off more, and I enjoy sailing too.
Hi, Mom.
It's as far away from noise and other distractions and a very hectic life, which I normally live, as far away from that as I can get on the weekend. I will get out of the slip and we'll cut the engine as soon as we can we can get under sail, and it's just a neat feeling to be powered by the wind and be going for free, you know. Not fossil fuel burning, but going on, you know, on Mother Nature. So that's a neat feeling.
The 38-year-old jet jockey was among those competing in this year's race to Ensenada. But perhaps a bigger challenge came in the tune-up race 2 weeks prior.
We hung right in there until the start, but we had no idea. We were in for driving rain, 30-knot winds, and you know, it was like the scene out of Gilligan's Island at first. You know, we were all in good spirits, but it wasn't as much fun as what I'm used to. So anyway, serious winds, serious seas, and we made it back. We powered back, so we did not complete the race, I guess. And it happens, you know.
Like Major Leppelmeyer, Monica Twitchell says it's the challenges involved with sailing that keeps her afloat during the week.
You get back to the dock at the end of the day, and you feel like you've worked, but it's not like bone-weary exhaustion.
While her landlocked office is in a Newport Beach medical building where she spends 5 days a week cleaning teeth, weekend races and an occasional regatta are always in her thoughts.
When you're racing and it's fast and it's hard and you're watching to make sure that nobody else is going to hit you and you're not going to hit anybody else, it's still, and that's, you know, it's real hectic, but it's still very relaxing.
Monica's husband, Glenn, feels the same way. The full-time electrician hates being grounded on weekends.
I used to ride motorcycles. That was my adrenaline rush, and I I got in a few bad accidents, but that didn't keep me from stopping. Then my brother died in an accident about 16 years ago, and the family got, you know, pretty tense about me riding still. So I gave up riding, and then there was nothing, you know. It's just, you know, nothing was really exciting me. A neighbor of mine invited me to go as rail meet on one of these Shock 35s, and it was just incredible, the rush involved. I mean, when you have 30 of these 35-foot boats trying to negotiate to cross the starting line right at the split second the gun goes off, and it's just, I mean, my first race, we got sideswiped by another boat, and 3 of our stanchions got ripped off, and I'm going, this'll do fine.
As soon as Glenn and Monica can afford to live on the water, they plan to buy a boat and sail around the world.
We just like the adventure. We like going out and meeting a lot of different people. Mostly we like the warmer weather. I mean, it's nice here in Southern California, but we know in the little latitudes it could be even nicer. So the whole thing about it is, and this is our whole relationship, as a matter of fact, the name of the boat is Teamwork, and that is the basis. We don't even have the boat yet, but it will be named Teamwork, and that's the basis of our whole relationship, is teamwork and going out there and working together in order to get to these places.
And I realized what a wonderful activity this is for somebody with a disability.
While the finish line is the final destination, there are a myriad of challenges along the way, from Mother Nature to human nature.
It is so overwhelming for me to see the transformation that takes place that my own personal concerns go out the window. I love it.
Duncan Milne was a member of the 1988 U.S. World Cup team. For the past decade, he's used the sport to inspire other disabled people to lead active lives.
Lant, we're going to put up the headsel first, okay? They come down on the boat. Sometimes the therapists bring them down and they don't even know why they're there. But they come down, get on the boat, sometimes reluctantly. And by the time we're out there and I've got them working on the winches and working with the sails and driving the boat, they're so involved in it they forget about their problems, even if it's just for a few hours.
Milne's life changed 10 years ago after meeting a young quadriplegic. While the boy was in the hospital, Milne promised to take him sailing. The results were amazing.
He had a great time. His mom was in tears. She said, "Duncan, I didn't think I'd ever see him smile again." And I realized what a wonderful activity this is for somebody with a disability. So I went to Memorial Hospital in Long Beach, and I spoke to Dr. Parsons, who at the time was the medical director for the rehab unit, and I said, "What do you think of the idea of doing this on a routine basis for hospital patients?" And he says, "You know, it sounds like a good idea. We've got this piece. Think of it as like a hole here, and you've got a little rabbit coming out of it."
Milne's Access to Sailing program has energized everyone, from accident victims to stroke patients.
We got the biggest program going in I think, the United States. We do almost 700 patients a year, and it's all at no cost to the patients. We do it through donations. And it has done so much for me that I think sometimes I get more out of it than the patients do. We got one here. Hey, there we go. We're almost there.
While much of Milne's time is spent instructing rehab patients, he also shows the ropes to those who've undergone therapy and are now living on their own.
I basically set up a program where people can come down and working through the Long Beach Parks and Recreation Department, teaching classes for people in the community who have disabilities that want to go beyond.
Milne feels the Newport to Ensenada race is the perfect venue for sailing students to show off their skills.
And part of the real benefit of learning to sail is getting out and doing races. And I thought the race to Ensenada, for instance, is a great way for people to showcase their abilities. So for the past 6 years, that's what we've been doing. And we've been, up to now, the only all-disabled crew to ever have sailed in the Ensenada race.
It's such a touching and moving story to see these guys do as well as they do with you know, not nearly the physical strengths that most people have, and they do it and they have a ball doing it, and even in slow years they stick it out and they don't give up. It's really quite a story to see what they do.
While Melanie's crew didn't win an award this year, another disabled skipper finished in the top of his class. It's clear these people hold a special place in the hearts of those who challenge themselves and attempt to beat the odds. Peter, I've charted the course this far. Now it's time for you to take the helm.
Yeah, you're right, Sam. I got the helm, so let's go.
Maybe the wind gods will cooperate and get us to Ensenada for breakfast. The night sailing is the most important part of this whole race, and this is how you make most of your miles.
Aboard Peacock, with Bob Jones at the wheel, skipper Clyde Childress at the bow is making split-second timing decisions at the start of the Newport to Ensenada yacht race. With 125 miles ahead of them to make up any loss at the beginning, Childress is most concerned with not crossing the starting line too early or getting jammed up with other boats.
Forecast for this afternoon should give us about 15 to 20 knots of wind. It should be in a good direction for us according to the forecast. This boat weighs about 22,000 pounds, and it takes 15 or 20 knots of wind to really make it move.
Yeah, we're ready. Okay. After guy, go up to the after guy. Let's pre-feed it first.
I think we should hold for like...
No, we're clear, we're clear.
Aboard Sirena, with Ed Quesada at the helm, it's almost all or nothing at the start. His strategy is to carry as much momentum from the start to the finish outside Ensenada Harbor. That's just part of the formula for two skipper starting strategies in the world's largest international yacht race.
We need, you know, as much wind as we can get, so we're looking forward to a nice windy race, and maybe the wind gods will cooperate and get us to Ensenada for breakfast.
With the start out of the way, strategy turns to setting the sails. The plan is to get the yacht to do the most work with the wind that's available, especially during daytime hours, because at night, it's a whole new race.
It's the night that counts. If you can find the wind at night, you're going to be in Ensenada before the majority of the boats. That's where they lose.
The night sailing is the most important part of this whole race, and this is how you make most of your miles. And we're going to try to, with the kind of wind we have right now, try to stay on the rum line.
Turns out the rum line that Ed mentioned is crucial to the race. It's the course that's most direct to Ensenada. Skippers try to find the most wind closest to the rum line. That means either going inside of it or outside. Inside usually means a shorter distance but less wind. Outside, more wind but greater distance. And the payoff is which skipper finds the most wind and stays closest to the rum line. Ed Quesada and the Sirena chose to run exactly down the rum line because the wind was already strong enough for them on the straight line. As the Sirena crew lays out more sail to catch the wind, there was a problem.
Don't let it out anymore. Who didn't lock that? Okay, I'm going downwind. Come on, guys. Pay attention. Okay, now you can bring it down. That's up good. Come on, bring it down. Come on.
It took Serena's crew just a few minutes to fix the trouble, but that few minutes would come back to haunt them at the end of the race. Aboard Peacock, Clyde Childress plots a course just to the outside of the rum line.
Our GPS tells us right now that we're making
What do you want to do?
6.2 knots over the ground, and we're just to the right of the courses. The course is exactly where we want to be for the wind. And at our current speed, estimated time of arrival passing the Coronados is about midnight tonight.
The sun sets. Strategies are in place. Now comes the proof. Whether it's Sirena or Peacock or one of the 450 other yachts in the race, each skipper has made a choice, and daylight will prove them right or wrong. There is a clue, though. As the Sirena passes the lights of San Diego well before they'd expected, they were making great speed. Morning dawns, darkness just barely giving way to light. It's about 5:30 a.m., and Sirena passes the finish line.
That's it.
We beat these guys.
All right, I'm getting ready.
Ed Quesada's hope to be in Ensenada for breakfast comes true. On the Peacock, it's another story. Outside the rum line, the wind has died. Many of the yachts which went outside are in the same boat. They're making just a few knots, and they know they'll not bring a trophy back from this race.
Well, perhaps courtesy of El Nino, the Newport Ensenada Yacht Race of 1998 is one of the fastest on record, if not the fastest, and many of the yachts arrived in port before anyone expected.
It's fantastic. It's great.
We had so much fun.
After the massive display of sails at the start of the Newport to Ensenada Yacht Race, at the end it's by ones and by twos that boats cross the finish line and enter the harbor. For some, there's already a sense of winning, and victory means a champagne celebration even before getting off the boat.
I think we definitely got first in our class, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good.
We, after looking at all the boats that came in and stuff, it looks like we did real well, so...
Excellent.
That's why we broke out the champagne.
By 8 o'clock Saturday morning, 170 boats had already finished the race, and everyone was talking about the new record set by Stars and Stripes, making the 125 nautical mile race in 6 hours and 45 minutes, blowing out Dennis Conner's old record by nearly 2 hours.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I mean, the monohull record, the catamaran records have both been shattered by almost 2 hours each. It's fantastic. It's great.
Yeah, you never expected this to happen, did you?
No. I mean, you hope for the best winds, and you do your wind dances and everything else. And I think El Nino really paid off.
As more racers showed up at race headquarters, the magnitude of this year's record-shattering pace became clear.
We got first, but my crew tells me we beat the official Shock 35 record by 4 hours.
Why do you think that happened?
Because there was lots of wind, and we chose the right way to go.
But victory didn't always mean coming in first place.
I'm in 7th place by not only 2 minutes. I missed the Carolyn Starr Trophy by not even 2 minutes. But you know what? We had ka-chink, great wing, so much fun. It was great. And the biggie is I beat my husband big time.
As the appointed hour for the awards presentation drew near, hundreds of seafarers crowded into race headquarters.
No matter how much fun or how tough a race might be, it always comes down to who gets the medal. And that's where we're at right now with the Newport Ensenada race of 1998. It's that time for the champions to step forward.
Heralded by a military band, race officials arrived at race headquarters to bestow the appropriate praises on crews which ranked high enough to take home a trophy.
But finally, El Nino paid off, and we had the fastest race in Ensenada history this year.
The crew of Sirena was lucky enough to be in the receiving line, but that brief mishap they suffered at the start of the race may have cost them first place in their class because they missed winning the big trophy by just 7 minutes. But that didn't seem to dampen their spirits, nor the spirits of the crowd, as the Sirena crew proudly displayed their second place award. Even the race Commodore got into the act, celebrating one of the best races in Newport to Ensenada yacht racing history.
Sam, as we lower the sails on the 1998 Newport to Ensenada yacht race, we'd like to congratulate all the seafarers who took part in the race.
That's right, Peter, but once again, the compass points to 1999, when the spirit of competition will once again rule the high seas. From all of us here at KOCE, thanks for sailing with us.
KOCE and Real Orange coverage of the Newport to Ensenada yacht race has been made possible in part by Land Rover Mission Viejo Newport Beach, the largest Land Rover center in the western U.S. Additional production assistance has been provided by Clyde and Connie Childress and the Childress Family Trust, and the Aventura Sailing Association of Dana Point, offering boating opportunities for recreational and professional seafarers, including boat and moorage rental and sailing instruction, and by Open Water Habitat Marine Schools of Santa Ana, offering a full range of equipment and instruction for recreational and professional diving enthusiasts, including scuba and camera equipment. If you'd like to receive a copy of Seafarers, please call 1-888-246-4585. That's 1-888-246-4585.